Two down, two to go. After blowing out the Raiders 28-7 in the divisional round, the Denver Broncos have finally made it to the AFC Championship. We are one game away from advancing to Super Bowl 52, and the only man in our way is a guy who knows a thing or two about Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes, in his 10th season as the starting quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, in his 10th AFC Championship. He has never not made it to this game, and that trend continues here in season number 4. Two division rivals set to face off in Denver with a spot in Super Bowl 62 on the line against the winner of the Dallas Cowboys and Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship. The Cowboys scoring 45 against the Bears. Seattle with a low-scoring win over Detroit. As for us, we get set for a team we're very familiar with in the Chiefs, similar to the fact that we're coming off a win against the division rival last week. We really took care of business against the Raiders, and we dominated early, up 14-0 after the first, 21-0 at half. This Raiders team has a very, very bright future with Jalen Daniels leading the charge, but it was clear that they're not quite ready. This was not their year. I think it's pretty clear this Broncos team has what it takes to go all the way, and if these two things go right, I think we can be arguably the favorites. The first of which is our defense playing well. They have those few games a year where they look lost, but we've played really well over the last 2 weeks, allowing 17 points against the Bengals and 7 against the Raiders, two of the highest scoring offenses in the NFL, and it'll be no different. The Chiefs are third in points per game. Along with that, we need our offensive skill position players to be healthy. It seems like always one or two of Ashton Jeanty, Marvin Mims, and Tez Johnson is hurt, but right now they're all healthy. So if the offensive skill position players are on the field and the defense is playing well, there's no reason why this team cannot take it all the way. I don't think there's a team left who has a bigger chip on their shoulder than the Chiefs. They've lost the Super Bowl to Dallas 2 years in a row, and I'm sure they would love an opportunity to not only make it back for a third straight year, but to try to extra-sort their demons and play against the Dallas Cowboys, who are obviously in the NFC Championship game. Along with our offensive skill position players being healthy and the defense playing well, I think the other big key for us is home field advantage. Us, the Raiders, and the Chiefs are all far better at home compared to the road. We're 10-0 at home if you combine the 2 playoff wins along with our 8-0 regular season record. We're just 3-6 on the road, but we will not have to play a road game through the entirety of the playoffs. We played against Kansas City twice, splitting with them. Our first matchup, we won at home, 28-17, although we were trailing going into the fourth quarter. Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes were both quite solid, although I would argue Nix was a little bit better, completing 81% of his passes. Definitely one of our better and more complete performances from the defense, and we did it without many of our offensive skill position guys. Ashton Jeanty did not play. Marvin Mims got injured in the first quarter, so those two guys were both not really there, and we still won. It was a really, really good team win, team performance. But then we played against them in Week 17, and things did not quite go as well. We scored 42 points, and we still lost. We had one of those rogue games where the defense forgets how to play defense. Now, Bo Nix deserves some blame. He turned the ball over 3 times, 2 interceptions and a fumble, and if even one of those don't happen, there's a real shot we would have won the game. But it's hard to point the finger at him when we scored 42 points. Mahomes threw for 6 touchdowns, and our defense was a disaster. A lot of Oregon representation at the top here of the receiving list, though, with Jurian Dickey, Tez Johnson, and Terrence Ferguson. The Chiefs' skill position players like ours have been banged up. Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy have missed time this year. Both of them are healthy for the AFC Championship today. We have not seen the Chiefs' offense in full strength this year, so that'll be a new challenge for us. Since allowing 49 points at Arrowhead, the defense has obviously been a lot better. We've only allowed 34 over the last 3 weeks combined. Which version of the defense will we be getting today? I think that's the number one key in determining the outcome of this game. As for Kansas City, of course, 11-6 in the regular season. The first time ever in Patrick Mahomes' career that he did not win the division. And they got third place because of the tiebreakers. However, they walked into Baltimore and steamrolled the Ravens. They blew out Lamar Jackson with a strong showing by Mahomes 2 touchdowns from Isaiah Pacheco, a good game from both Terrence Ferguson and Rashee Rice, and then the pass rush really stood out. 3 sacks for Donovan Ezaraku, who won the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, even though Michael Williams' numbers were better. And then in Buffalo, on the road against Josh Allen, wasn't quite as pretty offensively. Mahomes did not have his best game, completing 55% of his throws, but they still won, 17-14. The defense has been fantastic through 2 playoff games against 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, in Lamar Jackson, who's won a Super Bowl, and Josh Allen, who is seemingly unbelievably close every year. Shout out to Ifeatu Melifonwu, who has interceptions in each of Kansas City's first 2 playoff games so far as well. As we take a look at Mahomes, the guy, all he does is win. As I mentioned earlier, this is his 10th season as a starter. He's never not made the AFC Championship. That is a ridiculous stat. In this series, he's 2-1 in the AFC Championship, and he has 6 Super Bowl appearances in his career. He's 3-3. He hasn't won one in this series, and of course, they've lost 2 years in a row to the Cowboys. A 4th championship would certainly help out his legacy, which is already first, as it would for Andy Reid, who's won 34 playoff games, most of those with Mahomes. Obviously, he had a lot in Philadelphia. I thought the 34 would be higher, given that he made 4 NFC championships with the Eagles, and now 10 with the Chiefs. That's 14 conference championship appearances. That is ridiculous. Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Jurian Dickey, Terrence Ferguson, one of the best skill position rooms in the league, and unlike the first 2 times we saw them, they're healthy. The defense is quite talented as well, although they are missing multiple starters in the secondary. All-pro corner Denzel Burke is out. Standout rookie safety Dalton Brooks, who had an interception earlier this year against Bo Nix, is out as well. Ifeatu Melifonwu's done a great job, though, replacing Brooks with interceptions in each of Kansas City's 2 playoff wins. The last thing I'll say before we jump into this game is that it does kind of feel like deja vu. After the bye week, we played our best football of the year. We beat the Bengals at home, we beat the Raiders at home, and we beat the Chiefs at home. Going into the playoffs, we're playing as well as we did after the bye week. We beat the Bengals at home, we beat the Raiders at home. Now it's time to complete the trilogy. Let's beat the Chiefs again at home. One more showing for the crowd here in Denver. The Broncos looking to make it back to the Super Bowl for the first time in 12 years. Bo Nix, who would have thought this would have been his journey? A reject college quarterback who was essentially removed from the Auburn program, had to revitalize his career at Oregon, drafted into the first round, and is doubted by everyone. But he's won 4 playoff games in his career, including 2 this year. None of them, though, will be as challenging as this game, facing off against one of the all-time winners at the quarterback position in Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, who look to make it back to their 3rd straight Super Bowl. They're hoping for different results compared to the last 2 years with Dallas. This one is underway. Benjamin Morrison on the return has plenty of space past the 35 to the 37. He ran into Harold Fannin. I feel like he could have gotten a little more, but still a very good return. As we take a look at Bo Nix in the offense. Bo Nix has been good, but not great through the first 2 playoff games, largely because we haven't really needed him to be great. The defense has been exceptional. The run game has been exceptional. We haven't needed him to be Superman yet. We'll see what version of Bo we get today. Rivaldo Fairweather to Bo's left. Genty to his right. It's play action. Nix rolls to the right. Scrambles. Has a man open deep. He wants it all, and he's intercepted. Kelee Ringo picks it off for Kansas City. Bo's first interception of the playoffs as Ringo brings it to the 24, and the Chiefs force an early turnover. Ryan Williams was wide open early in that route. He was not Bo Nix's initial read. Bo sees that he's open and makes the right decision. The problem is I think he threw the ball a little bit too late, along with the pass being underthrown, and Kelee Ringo's able to make a play on it. So Kansas City, who forced 3 turnovers against Bo Nix in the Week 17 game at Arrowhead, gets one here in the opening minute of the AFC Championship. If nothing else, it's kind of like an arm punt because at least they don't get good field position now. But here's Patrick Mahomes. This guy's pretty good. 10th AFC Championship appearance. Again, he is 6-3 in his AFC Championship career. 3-3, of course, in the Super Bowl. 2nd and 6. Pacheco to the right side. Gets the first down. Breaking tackles to the 39. Pacheco played very well in the win against the Bills last week as Baron Browning is banged up. That is not what we want to see, even though he's been underwhelming really the entire season, including the playoffs. We know how important of a player that he is. Terrence Ferguson in motion on 2nd and 8. Mahomes goes short. It is caught. Xavier Worthy with a first down to the 49-yard line. We have not gotten to see the Chiefs receiving corps healthy this year, much like how they haven't gotten to see our backfield healthy. The Chiefs have not played against Ashton Genty yet. Here's Ferguson with a first down to the 33-yard line. With Rice and Worthy banged up throughout the year, they have leaned on Ferguson more than ever, and he has quickly become one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Travis Kelce, who? 2nd and 9, up the middle, another catch and another first down. Xavier Worthy, his 3rd of the game. B.J. Ojulari is shaken up. Baron Browning's back up. Luckily, Browning is already back in the game, though. Mahomes scrambles, has room, gets by Bossa inside the 10, the 5 to the 3, before nearly taking a big hit by Javon McIntyre, who wanted to obliterate him there. But a good run for Patrick Mahomes, and Kansas City is marching on the doorstep. 1st and goal. Mahomes scrambles, looking to his left. He has space, and he is in for a score. What a start for the Chiefs. The interception by Ringo and an impressive scoring drive by Patrick Mahomes. Much like the first 5 minutes of the Raiders game last week, it's been a dominant start. We got an early stop and an early score. Here in this game, the Chiefs force an early turnover, and they march right down the field. We're certainly hoping this is not a repeat of the Raiders game, so we've got to pick it up. First down of the game, a nice play after the catch for Tez Johnson, who gets it to the 48-yard line. The offense is going to have to keep pace. We know what these guys are capable of. I mean, they just scored 50 points against us a few weeks ago. 2nd and 2. Nix looking deep. He's got Marvin Mims. No one in front of him. Marvin Mims is gone! Touchdown! Broncos were tied at 7. Talk about a response! A 3-play drive for Denver. Bo Nix completed 2 passes, both of them going for over 20 yards. A 40-yard score for marvelous Marvin Mims. His 2nd touchdown in as many weeks, and we're tied at 7. Kansas City back with it. How did he get that wide open? That's Khalil Mullins to the 37. I don't know what Marvin Grant was doing. Running away from him, just like Kansas tried to run away from Mullins' Michigan team in the Season 1 national title. Isaiah Pacheco loses a yard. Nick Bonito and friends bringing him down. And now we're looking at a 3rd and 11 for Kansas City. Mahomes looks to throw it. Looking. He's got Ferguson with a first down. Tripped up by Savon Revel. We're lucky Revel was able to get some contact there. Ferguson could have turned that into an even bigger play. But Mahomes has been perfect so far. He has not thrown an incompletion yet. Up the middle, Ferguson again inside the 20, the 15, the 10, all the way to the 8. Terrence Ferguson's been uncoverable so far. I think he's already got 5 catches, probably well over 70 yards at this point. Still with a minute left in the first quarter. 2nd and goal. Who else? Terrence Ferguson in for a touchdown. Kansas City, their offense has been flawless through 2 drives, and it's 14-7. We only allowed 24 points in the first 2 games of the playoffs combined. But yet the Chiefs marched right down the field twice for 2 easy touchdowns. Joe Burrow is spectacular. Jalen Daniels is spectacular. But neither of them are Patrick Mahomes. 3rd and 9. Nix hit as he throws. He's got Chris Brazzell. First down past the 50. Whoop! Juke moved to the 31. A good play there by Brazzell, keeping the chains moving. And that'll wrap up what was an interesting first quarter. The Kansas City Chiefs lead at 14-7. The defense has not been very good so far. Pat Mahomes has not thrown an incompletion. He is 11 for 11 up to this point. Bo Nix, meanwhile, is only 3 of 5, but he's thrown basically for the same amount of yards that Mahomes has. All 3 of Bo's completions have gone for at least 20 yards, and all of them have at least 10 yards after the catch. That one is broken up, though, on 3rd and 5 by Jay Higgins, trying to thread the needle for Tez Johnson. And we're going to bring out the field goal unit. 43-yard try for Will Lutz is good, and that'll make it 14-10. Solid drive by the Broncos, not a great 3rd down throw. As Mahomes returns, he's been flawless through the opening 2 drives of the game. It looks like we are getting the best version of Patrick Mahomes, which any version of him is frightening, but this version is terrifying. He's got Khalil Mullins looking to outrun McIntyre. He gets it to the 34. Mahomes is only going short. He's getting the ball out super quick. We had 6 sacks a week ago. Mahomes clearly watched the film, and he's found a way to game plan around it, and his receivers are doing a good job after the catch. 2nd and inches, Mahomes goes short on the out route. He's got Jurion Dickey to the 20. make that 16 for 16. He has not missed. Following play, Terrence Ferguson breaks the tackle from Bossa, wrapped up by Surtain. 17 of 17 as Ferguson is banged up on the play. That's not good news for the Chiefs. He's got 7 catches, 77 yards. He's been uncoverable in this first half. 2nd and 1, Mahomes looking short. He's got Rashee Rice to the 2. 18 of 18 through his first 3 drives. That is remarkable. 1st and goal at the 2. Mahomes looks to throw it. That one is caught for a touchdown. And the Kansas City Chiefs add to the lead. It's Xavier Worthy. However, I'm not so sure this one is going to stand. I think we're looking at a holding against the left tackle, Kingsley Suamataia. So the touchdown is off the board, and Kansas City now gets it back at the 12. 2nd and goal now from the 6. Play action. Mahomes under pressure, and he is sacked. Jack Sawyer brings him down. He had his first sack as a Bronco last week. Here's his second. 3rd and goal from the 11. Good to see us sending some pressure. We haven't really gotten to Mahomes much today. Looking to throw it. Lobs it up for the end zone. It's tipped, caught, and dropped. Rashee Rice had it in his hands off the tip, but Colin Wright jars it away, and Mahomes finally throws an incompletion. He started 19 of 19. That's a lot. And nearly 20 if Rashee Rice was able to catch it off the tip. Pause. Whoa, that sounds weird out of context. Field goal is good for Harrison Butker, and that'll make it 17 to 10. Shout out well-known women's rights enjoyer, Harrison Butker. Play action. Next, he's got Marvin Mims with a first down, wrapped up at the 48, although really Mims is the one who lassoed the defender down himself. Bo Nix is really focused on stretching the field. It's been about the big plays, whereas for Mahomes, it's been about the checkdowns. But it's worked for both guys. Can't really fault them. Genty going backwards, though. Donovan Ezaraku brings him down. And Ashton Genty is hurt on the play. He is going to the locker room. For a guy who's missed a lot of time this year, including both games against Kansas City, that is not what we want to see. 3rd and 10, 3:20 to go in the half. Nix up the middle. Marvin Mims, first down to the 22. Mims has been fantastic in the first half. As for Genty, it's a bruised sternum. His day is over. So much like the end of the regular season, it'll be the Travion Henderson show. I imagine we'll see spurts of Harrison Whaley, maybe Zamir White as well. Now at the 2-minute warning, Denver getting closer and closer to the end zone, looking to tie this game up before the break. And we want to be smart with the clock as well. Henderson, RPO, does not get it. Stephen Daly brings him down. 4th and 1 at the 13. What do you do if you're Denver? We're going to go for it. And I'm not making this decision based on the differences of scoring 3 points with a field goal versus 7 with a touchdown. But I want to get the first down and control the clock. I know it's risky, but I don't want the Chiefs to have time with the ball. And sure enough, Travion Henderson does get the first down. That was not an easy conversion, though. There weren't many clear rushing lanes. He had to find some space himself and does a good job of doing so, getting a challenging first down, and now we're in full chew clock mode. Short throw, Henderson closer to the end zone. He gets it to the 3. The Chiefs still have 2 timeouts in their back pocket. They're not using them, so we're going to continue to let this clock burn. Henderson, not in. He gets down at the 1, and we're going to let this clock go even further. 3rd and goal. There's 9 seconds left. Next, QB sneak, and he's in. Touchdown, Broncos, an extra point away from tying it with 7 seconds left in the first half. We managed the final 2 minutes of that drive perfectly by design. Once we got the 4th down conversion, it was about chewing clock, and we brought it all the way down to 7 seconds. Now, if we didn't get that first down, we would have been in trouble because the Chiefs would have gotten the ball back. They probably would have been able to score. Would have been a 2-score game going into halftime, and they would have started the second half with the ball. So now it's an entirely new game. We're tied at 17. It's basically a new game. It's basically 0-0. Whoever plays better in the second half wins this game. It's really that simple. We have been solid up and down through 20 minutes. We're going to need to be a little bit more consistent and stable, especially defensively. Of course, the winner of this game again, set to face off against the Seahawks or the Cowboys in Super Bowl 62. Will it be 3rd time's the charm for Dallas and Kansas City? Or will one or both of Seattle and Denver look to shock the world? Patrick Mahomes has been unbelievable. Completed his first 19 passes. He's 19 for 20 today. 197 and a score. Bo Nix, 6 of 9. Nice. for 143 and a score, averaging nearly 16 yards per completion. Not necessarily his game, but it has worked. Terrence Ferguson's been impressive, 7 for 77. Marvin Mims, 3 catches, 86 yards and a score. He's been good. So we're going to have to continue to throw the ball well. Stretching the field has clearly worked, so that's got to be the goal. And then defensively, it's pretty simple. Mahomes is getting all of his passes in the short game, and he's not missing. We're throwing everything at him. We're throwing blitzes. We're running man coverage. We're running zone coverage. Nothing is working, and I'm trying to figure out how many guys we should have blitzing at a time. On one hand, I think it's a good idea to get one of these linebackers as a consistent blitzer to try to send some pressure, but that takes somebody out of coverage in the short to intermediate part of the field where Mahomes is looking to throw it. Under pressure, he's got Ferguson right back in the game, quickly making his presence felt again, his 8th catch of the game, and that brings Kansas City past the 50 early. 2nd and 6 now at the 46. Ferguson in motion. He will go back to the left side as Mahomes looks to throw it. And it's nearly intercepted! Could have been a pick six. Javon McIntyre had an easy one in his hands, but he dropped it. That's been an issue for our defense throughout the postseason. The dropped interceptions, and in a game like this, without a lot of margin for error, that could really come back to hurt us. 3rd and 6. Mahomes looking downfield. It's Xavier Worthy to the 20. If Xavier Worthy has a step on you as a DB, it's over. Colin Wright is fast. Xavier Worthy's a little bit faster. 4.21 speed. Worthy again catches the lob, and he's in for a touchdown. The Kansas City Chiefs picking up right where they left off from the first half. 2 big catches on back-to-back plays for Xavier Worthy as Mahomes lofts it up perfectly into the bucket. That was pretty good coverage that time by Colin Wright, but Mahomes sent that ball where Wright could not reach it. A quick drive, 5 plays, minute 40 for Kansas City. That's a lot quicker than we've seen from them throughout the game. So now Denver gets it back, and now we've got to respond. It's a track meet. Both teams trading punches. The offense has to be nearly perfect. Do not have room for mistakes if Kansas City is going to play like this. Mims with a big start. He gets it to the 26-yard line. A quick gain of around 37 yards for Marvin Mims. And we are quickly close to the red zone within 1 play. Nick sends it to Whaley on first down, and he's going backwards. Zane Durant, the untackle at Penn State, brings him down. The Chiefs have drafted so well in this series on the defensive side of the ball. They have an embarrassment of riches in terms of young defensive players. Nick scrambles on the run. He's got Fannin. Keeps the feet inbounds to the 10. What a throw there by Bo Nix. He knew he wanted to send it to Fannin, but it was about timing the throw to where a defender would not be able to touch the ball and to make sure Fannin would stay in bounds. 2nd and goal, RPO. Williams tripped up, and he cannot quite send his way in, but he's close to the 2. Chris Jones banged up for the Chiefs. That is certainly not good news for them. Now it's a 3rd and goal at the 2. Fannin in motion. Henderson gets it, and he's in. Really good block there by Harold Fannin as he's able to cut to the defensive tackle, giving Henderson space to waltz into the end zone, and we are tied at 24. This really is turning into the regular season game in Arrowhead that ended 49-42. I don't think anyone's going to score 49 given where we are in terms of time. The offenses have not moved fast enough in this game. Granted, both teams' opening drives in the second half lasted under 2 minutes. So we're each moving it quickly here in the 3rd quarter as Kansas City gets it back, and we'll see if they can repeat with more scoring. The Chiefs have scored every time they've got the ball except for the last drive of the first half where Patrick Mahomes knelt out the clock. That one is incomplete, broken up. I like seeing us making plays on the ball there. Mahomes has certainly not been as perfect over the last couple of drives. 2nd and 10 from the 38. Halfway through the 2nd, Mahomes looks to throw it down the field, and it's caught. To the 42 goes Rashee Rice for a gain of 20. That'll continue the drive. Normally when Rashee Rice continues the drive, it's not a good thing. But in this case, it is. Play action off the blitz. Jeffrey Bossa comes home. That is a huge play for the Denver defense. Ojulari shaken up. As I said, I wanted to be strategic in terms of how we utilize our blitzes, and this time it works. Bossa comes home for the 2nd sack of the game for the Denver defense. 3rd and 10 at the 41. Mahomes wide open. Rashee Rice. He gets it to the 20. We can't have that. One of the few times we get the Chiefs offense behind the sticks, they still end up with a first down. Following play, boink, boink, incomplete off of the helmets of Pat Surtain and Colin Wright. I wish one of them made a play on the ball, but again, the coverage has gotten better on the first couple of drives to where we are now. 2nd and 10. Mahomes, incomplete, big hits by Savon Revel. The defense is starting to show us something here. This is encouraging. We've got to get another 3rd down stop, though. The Chiefs converted a few plays ago on 3rd and 10. They'll look to do it again. Rice in motion. Surtain follows. Pacheco to the right side of Mahomes as Terrence Ferguson now moves in motion. He'll slide back to the left. Mahomes looks to throw it. Mahomes goes short, and it's nearly intercepted. Colin Wright had it in his hands. Back-to-back-to-back incompletions. What was the common denominator there? All 3 of those plays, we ran tight man coverage. That might have to be the key the rest of the way. It'll be interesting to see how Mahomes adjusts, given the expectation that we're going to be running more man. Kick is good for Harrison Butker. Chiefs back ahead 27-24. So finally, we get the ball back, and we're only down by 3, not 7. We have room to finally take the lead for the first time today as Henderson gets it to the 46-yard line. He's been solid since the injury to Ashton Genty. Following play, Nix rolls out to the right, scrambles, goes short. Harold Fannin, first down, gets a good block by Johnson, and he is pushed down at the 39. Johnson dinged up, though, as he was blocking. No block, no rock. Johnson has been banged up in each of the first 2 playoff games, so it's not encouraging to see him hurt again. Harrison Whaley on 2nd and 2. Juke move. Throws the defender off of him inside the 15 to the 10. I did not know Harrison Whaley had that in his bag. He's more of your outside runner, a guy who's obviously very good in space, very good as a receiver, but not necessarily a between the tackles power runner. Gets the juke move and then throws the DB off of him as he gets it to the 10. What a run. 3rd and 5, 30 seconds left in the 3rd. Nix scrambles on the run. It's nearly intercepted. That could have been bad news. It looked like Ryan Williams was going to be open. I think there was some contact there. I think the hit on Bo might have altered the throw a little bit, but nonetheless, that could have been a lot worse. And we've got a decision to make. 4th and 5 at the 5. We need as many points as we can get, but we're going to play it safe and take the field goal. If it was at the 2, maybe you consider otherwise, but I think that's too far away to go for it. 27-27. Kansas City on the return. Marquise Brown with space. He's wrapped up by the punter. Jake Camarda with a huge hit as Jurion Dickey is hurt. That's not good news. He's going to the locker room. Dickey's been kind of quiet today, but he's had a phenomenal rookie year. Championship pedigree as a junior in the national championship for Oregon. He got 10 passes for 200 yards. He knows how to play in these big games. Big play by Rashee Rice. He gets it to the 39-yard line, and that will wrap up the 3rd quarter. Not much has changed from halftime to where we are now. We're tied at 27. Neither offense is slowed down at all. It really might be whichever defense gets a stop first wins, because neither defense has really gotten a stop. There have been 0 punts in this game. There have been very few drives without points as Pacheco pushed backwards on 3rd down, but then he falls forwards for the first down. What a savvy play there by Isaiah Pacheco. He caught the ball past the first down marker, but Bossa pushed him back. It was a smart play. But then he falls forwards to get the conversion, keeping the drive going for the Chiefs. At the 28, wide open! The rookie, Zachariah Branch, in for a touchdown, and Kansas City is back on top. A busted coverage there. The one time we run zone, it backfires. Savon Revel and Marvin Grant both a little slow on their assignments as Revel nearly blocks the kick. Nearly makes up for his bad defensive play. And now the offense gets it back down by 7. We've been playing from behind all day, and we've done a good job of it. But we've got to score 7 points again. Biggest drive of the year. Nick scrambles on 1st down. On the run, he's got Mims out of bounds for a gain of 8. The Chiefs would challenge the play, though. I don't think that's a good decision. I mean, for one thing, it's only 8 yards. So, like, is it really worth the risk? And then more so, he very clearly was in bounds. 1, drags the second one. Yeah, he's in. That's a pretty stupid challenge by head coach Andy Reid. So the call stands, obviously, and the Chiefs lose their timeout. We'll see if that comes back to bite them. Henderson bounces to the outside, past the 50 to the 47. Wrapped up by Leo Chanel. A good run there by Trey Henderson who continues to play really well in the absence of Genti. Nix fires on first down, looking for Chris Brazel. Nix has not missed many throws today to his credit, but that one was off the mark. 2nd and 10. Trey Henderson gets it. Henderson pushing forward, and he gets the first down. Powerful, physical run for Trey Henderson as Zane Durant is hurt. That is not good news. One of their better young players on the defensive line, and he's had a pretty good game today. Following play up the middle, Marvin Mims again. He's been awfully busy today as he gets it to the 27-yard line. It's been an impressive one for Mims. 7 catches, over 140 yards. Play action. Nix floats it up. Wants it all. It's caught! Touchdown, Marvin Mims again. His 2nd of the game. Denver ties it at 31. He just punched the cameraman. Oh, my God. No flags, right? No flags. Good. What a play there by Mims. Really smart throw by Bo Nix. Once Bo saw that the free safety was not traveling deep, he figured there's a real shot Mims is going to be open. He got separation off the corner and was able to get some space to come down with the catch. The question is, was he in bounds? I think as we can tell by the replay, the answer is very clearly yes. He's in. That's a touchdown. And this game is tied at 34. Marvin Mims has been unguardable today. 8 catches. I think, 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. I get the injury stuff is a concern with him, but when he plays, he is the man. Chiefs get it back with 7 to go. We're tied at 34. We'll see if they can score yet again. Khalil Mullins in motion. He's been used as a hybrid tight end for them after playing running back in college. Mahomes misfires up the middle for Rashee Rice. He had a step on Pat Surtain. Surtain and Wright were so good in the first 2 playoff games. Today, obviously, hasn't really been their day. Pacheco on 2nd down, breaking tackles. Honestly, an impressive run as he gets 4. Wright, Benito, and Surtain there to bring him down. That brings us to a pivotal 3rd down and 6. Empty backfield. Mahomes is all alone. The Chiefs have been unstoppable on 3rd down as that one is broken up. So Von Revel with the hit as he jars it away from Zachariah Branch. And for the first time all day for either team, we will have a punt. This is huge because as this game has gone along, it really feels like the first defense to get a stop may very well win this game. And that team ends up being us. And not only do we get the stop, we force a 3 and out. We'll get good field position. Juke move by Johnson past the 25. The field position's been a big key for us. Our special teams and our kick return unit today has been really, really good. Shout out to those guys, Ben Morrison, Ryan Williams, and of course, the blockers. 6 minutes and 5 seconds left. We're not playing from behind finally. The game is tied as Whaley gets 4. This is uncharted waters for us. Every time the offense has had the ball, we have been down, except for the opening drive, which was obviously tied, and Bo Nix had the interception. Only a gain of 1 for Trey Henderson, and that'll bring us to a pivotal 3rd and 5. After the Chiefs get a 3 and out, there's no way we get a 3 and out right after them, right? That would be pretty depressing. Nix looks to throw it, looking for the sidelines. He's got Brazel. First down to the 49-yard line. A huge catch by Chris Brazel to keep the drive going as he's able to get some space there on the DB. Way too slow to turn. We were looking for the tight ends up the middle, but Fairweather and Fannin were both covered. Nix goes to his 3rd read. Quarterbacks, you got to know how to go through your progressions like Bo Nix does. Up the middle, Brazel, big play after the catch, and the Broncos are in field goal range as he brings it to 28. With under 5 minutes to go, this is where we start to think about the clock. Obviously, the number 1 priority is to score, preferably a touchdown. But ideally, we don't want the Chiefs to have too much time with the ball. Henderson gets 5 on first down, and we're going to let this clock go. I mean, there's no reason for us to rush, right? 2nd and 5, play action. Nix under pressure, outruns the pass rusher. Hit as he throws incomplete, but there is a flag. What could this be? I'm not sure. It's an illegal receiver downfield on the offense. It's Gus Hartwig, the center. So if you're the Chiefs, do you choose the downs or the yardage? I would choose the downs. I would make it 3rd and 5, but instead it's 2nd and 10. In a normal game, I would accept the penalty. But giving our offense 2 chances to get the first down with how good we've been on offense feels like an interesting decision that I would not have made. Nonetheless, we're going to get 2 chances to convert. 2nd and 10. Nix, short throw. Harold Fannin gets around 7. That'll play. 3rd and 3 now at the 21. If we don't get this, we will certainly have an interesting 4th down decision to make depending on how close we are. Henderson in the backfield. He gets it, and he does not get the 1st down. It's a gain of 1. Stephen Daly brings him down. 4th and 2 at the 20 with 3 minutes to go in a tie game. This is without a doubt the biggest coaching decision we will have to make of this series. The question is, do you trust the defense or do you trust Bo Nix? And based on how this game has gone, we trust Bo Nix. We're going for it on 4th down. Nix, short throw. Brazel's got it! To the 10. In a normal game, I would kick the field goal. No reason to get cute. But the defense has not been good today. I do not want Mahomes getting the ball only down by 3. And with how good Bo Nix has been today, we believe in him to convert, which he does. Following play. Here's Henderson to the 7. The game clock is a little bit ahead of the play clock, which is good news for us because that's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning before the play clock hits 0. 2 minutes to go in an instant classic of an AFC championship. 34-34. Denver in the red zone looking to take the lead. 2nd and goal at the 7. Henderson's got it, and he gets maybe a yard. That'll make it a 3rd and goal at the 6. And again, if we don't get it, we will have another interesting 4th down decision to make. Harrison Whaley, the back in the backfield. The play clock all the way down to 5. Whaley gets the handoff with room. He's in! Harrison Whaley with the touchdown. And for the first time all game, the Denver Broncos have the lead. The defense forces the 3 and out. The offense marches down the field with a pivotal 4th down conversion, a huge 3rd down on the goal line, and Denver's up by 7. It's an 11-play drive. It nearly uses 5 minutes of clock. And Mahomes will have 73 seconds and 2 timeouts to drive down the field. If he can do it in 12, he can do it in 73, you would think. We'll see what Kansas City can do. Their last drive was a 3 and out. Denver's defense has gotten better as the game's gone along. Broken up on 1st down. Marvin Grant got a hand on it. Big play there for the 3rd-year safety out of Kansas. Rock chalk. 2nd and 10 at the 26, down to 1:10. Khalil Mullins in motion. Bossa will follow him. Looks like Denver's probably in man. They've ran a lot of man in the second half, and it's worked. Quick throw, 1st down, Rashee Rice. Kansas City uses their 2nd timeout. They've still got 1 more. Then it's 6 at the 40. Remember, field goal does nothing. They need a touchdown, and with using that 2nd timeout, they're putting all their eggs in this drive. Mahomes sacked on 1st down. Nick Bonito leads the way. Aleem McNeil joins him. They don't call the timeout and instead go no huddle. Down to 45 seconds. 2nd and 18. Mahomes, short throw. He has Branch, and he gets 13. Nick Bonito is hurt. That is bad news. I mean, for one thing, this is our best pass rusher. We do not want him out the game. He just had the big sack on 1st down. But it also stops the clock, and the Chiefs do not have to use their timeout. So they still have one in their back pocket. Certainly not what we needed there. Not much motion from the defense there with Mullins. Is it zone or is it disguised man? Well, there was no man coverage there because Terrence Ferguson was wide open. Nobody covered him. And he gets it to the 33. Chiefs use their last timeout. Broken ribs for Nick Bonito. That is certainly not what we had hoped for. If Denver holds on to win this game, you'd think he would not be available for the Super Bowl, which really sucks. Down to 33. There is Rashee Rice. Stiff arm. 10, 5, touchdown! Kansas City, an extra point away from tying it up. Rashee Rice with the score. 41-41, assuming they make the kick. Rice is open. He had about 3 steps on Surtain. A pathetic effort of tackling by Colin Wright. And they are an extra point away from knotting this one up. It's Harrison Butker, the biggest kick of his life. His kick is up, and it is good. I'm sure Harrison Butker's wife is pleased as she cooks his dinner inside of their kitchen. 41-41 on the return. We've had some great kick returns today. The Chiefs got to change what they're doing on special teams. Morrison up the middle to the 33. That's pretty good field position. 25 seconds. and 2 timeouts. With the big explosive plays we've gotten through the passing game, you'd think that could be enough time. Nix on first down, under pressure, scrambles and throws it away. The number one thing of importance on this drive is don't force anything. You absolutely cannot afford to turn the ball over. Worst comes to worst, we take it to overtime. That's fine. 2nd and 10. Nix under more pressure from Daly. Throws out of the sack. It's incomplete. We're down to 15 seconds as it's a 3rd and 10. Do you just run the ball, wave the white flag, and play for overtime? Not Denver. Nix up the middle. He's got Mims with space past the 50 to the 45 as the Broncos call their second timeout with 9 seconds. We're only 10 yards away from field goal range, give or take, and we've still got a timeout in our back pocket. It would be a 62-yarder right now. That's certainly too long. Nix under pressure, throws it away again. We're down to 4 seconds. Now this is a really interesting decision. Do you go for the kick now or do you run another play? The offense is still on the field. It's a run. Henderson dives down. Call the time! And we get it off just barely. Maybe a quarter of a second left before the clock hit 0. That was risky, but I knew we needed every yard we could get for Will Lutz because this is a long kick, 58-yarder. The Chiefs are out of timeouts. They cannot ice him. So this is it. Big Nuts Lutz for the win. And a spot in the Super Bowl on the line. His kick is up. It is good! And the Denver Broncos shock the world! Broncos country! We're riding to Super Bowl 62! Will Lutz from 58 yards for the win at the buzzer. What a game! What a finish! But Denver's season will continue, and the Chiefs will not have a chance of revenge against Dallas. Going into this game, after the first 2 playoff games, as I said, the keys for us were that our offensive skill position guys were healthy and the defense played well. Neither of those things happened. Genty missed the second half. Tez Johnson was banged up. The defense obviously did not play well. And if you told me that all those things would have happened before the game, I would have said, nice season, but it's over. Well, this team found a way to overcome obstacles, to overcome Patrick Mahomes having the game of his life in the first half, completing his first 19 passes. There was not much margin for error offensively. Bo Nix throws an interception on his first pass of the game, but we scored every other drive after that. Not a single possession after the interception. We did not end up with points. It was as good of a performance offensively as we could have asked for. As clutch of a performance as we could have asked for. Both quarterbacks were ridiculous. Patrick Mahomes, my God, is he spectacular. I feel like Chris Collinsworth talking him up, but he earns it. 34 for 43, 472, 4 scores. He missed some throws in the second half, but he was still unbelievably good. He played an A++ first half. He played an A+ second half. But with how well our offense played, he needed to be A++ there as well. As for Bo Nix, 21 of 30. He didn't throw the ball as much as Mahomes, but he still had 350 yards. We were airing it out. We were looking deep often, and it consistently worked. 70% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, and of course the early interception. Bo Nix was awesome today. I would say the best playoff game of his career. And guess what? Bo Nix is going to play in a Super Bowl. How cool is that? Ashton Genty got injured. What does Trey Henderson come in and do? 85 yards and a touchdown. He continues to be rock solid as the backup. And then Harrison Whaley was great as well. A couple of big runs, including the big third down touchdown with like a minute left. Through the air, 9 for 123 and a score for Ferguson. He was unstoppable in the first half, quieter in the second. 8 for 187 and 2. The best game of Marvin Mims' professional career. This is why we're not going to trade him. I get the contract is a lot of money. I get that he has a hard time staying on the field. But when he plays, he is so good. 7 for 135 and a score for Rice. 5 for 78 and a score for Worthy. Chris Brazzell was unbelievably clutch. He had 3 catches on that final drive, including the big 4th down conversion following the 2-minute warning. He was money. You know who else was really good today? The offensive line. The run blocking was phenomenal. The pass blocking, minus the very last drive of the game, was great as well. Bo Nix was not sacked once in this game. The offensive line was a problem the first 3 seasons of this series, but this year it really became a strength. Defensively, not as good. We allowed 41 points. I don't think this was as bad as some of our defensive performances this year, like the Raiders game, the Lions, the Jets earlier against the Chiefs, but it was still really bad. Patrick Surtain was bad. Colin Wright was bad. Jeffrey Bossa was bad. Micah Williams was bad. Baron Browning was bad. Not many guys showed up in this game. But when we needed to get some stops, we did. The Chiefs scored on their last drive, but the drive before that, 3 and out. The only punt of the game. The defense needed to get 1 stop, and they got exactly 1. Also, shout out Will Lutz. What a stud. 58 for the win, and he drilled it. Not a whole lot of action from the punters. Only 1 with Logan Cook, but I do want to shout out Jake Camarda, who, on kickoff duty, had that big tackle in the 3rd quarter, which might have saved an even bigger return. So shout out Jake Camarda for doing the dirty work. Denver's headed to the Super Bowl. We knock off the Chiefs. Another year without a title for Patrick Mahomes. It's been 4 years since his last Super Bowl, despite making it twice and making the AFC Championship all 4 seasons of the series. Now, we did have a few guys get injured in this game. We've been fully healthy over the last 2 weeks. Not anymore. Nick Benito, broken ribs. BJ Ojolari, abdominal tear. They will be out for the Super Bowl. Obviously, Benito in particular is a huge loss. He's one of our most important defensive players. He was not great in the regular season, but he has been phenomenal in the playoffs. The good news is Ashton Genty will be good for the Super Bowl, so he will be healthy. The entire offense ready to go for Super Bowl 62. The dream dies for the Chiefs. Still a successful season. No, it's not. How is this a success for the Chiefs? This is the bare minimum, making the AFC title game. So we've got Seattle or Dallas waiting on the horizon. Who will we play in the Super Bowl? Well, normally I would say find out next time. But I think I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek today. On to Super Bowl 62. Denver shocked the world and knocked off the Chiefs, but they were not the only team with a surprise upset victory. Our opponent is Avery Johnson and the Seattle Seahawks. These 2 teams are connected by the hip. From the Russell Wilson trade to Super Bowl 48 14 years ago, these 2 teams have formed an unlikely out-of-conference rivalry. Well, here we go again in the Super Bowl, a rematch of a game 14 years ago that I'm sure Denver would certainly like to forget, and it'll be a lot easier to forget if we play well in this game. Super Bowl 62, Broncos and Seahawks, Bo Nix and Avery Johnson, premiering this Sunday. Be there.